Good morning. Today I have the honor of introducing Matthew Allen Davis to the community. This is my first time addressing the community, as Matt's my first advisee to become a senior. Matt and I began high school together 3 years ago. He's been my advisee for the entirety, and finally this year a student in my class. Here's a brief list of his many accomplishments. Headmaster Scholar, National Honor Society member, a state chess champion, Summer Ventures participant, high honor roll each quarter, lacrosse, soccer, and band member, and starting 8th grade in 2005 and being a senior in 2008. How does he accomplish all of these things? Some of it is definitely natural talent and ability, but I truly believe it stems from something else, his attitude and effort. When Matt first arrived, already competitive in chess, I thought, well, I used to play a little bit of chess when I was in school, so I'll give him a try, test him out. So we played in the library one afternoon. And I, just playing around, used a sort of odd opening on him and fooled him into making some silly moves and ended up beating him that night. The next week, Matt came back and said, I want a rematch. So we played again, and he thoroughly trounced me when I tried the same thing. When I asked him about it, he said, well, I went home and I remembered what you did, and I practiced those moves that you opened with, and I figured out here's where I could get you if you tried that same thing again on me. So he won the second round. We played one final game a few weeks later. Unfortunately, that ended in a draw because of time constraints. We had to go to class. So Matt's much more than just naturally talented. He works hard at trying to improve himself and trying to be better. If there's one thing that every student can take from Matt, it's the following. Maximize your strengths and make your weaknesses stronger. In speaking with families, friends, and teachers, no one has ever said, Matt is only okay at such and such, or Horowitz is bad at this other thing. It's amazing to be known as competent at all you attempt, with the possible exception for Matt of the culinary arts. One day at advisee lunch, he tried to convince me that ice cream teriyaki on a stick would be a new food craze. So, in summary, strive to emulate Matt and his tenacity, but disregard his advice about what to eat. Matt Horowitz.
Hey everybody. I was listening to Japanese pop music when I wrote this, so it may not sound as intense as it did when I wrote it, but I'll give it a try. I am a manganese ion, one of many, in fact. I am drenched in a solution of sulfurous acid and sodium hydroxide. Right now, my charge is 7+, but that may soon change, as with my color. The stock solution told me that it's perfectly normal for atoms like me to undergo such changes. My nucleus gives me an uneasy feeling about the journey to come, but given my elemental properties, I know I can maintain my self-confidence. Knowing the inherently large standard deviation that comes with general chemistry students, I'm kind of worried that I may not get picked for reduction. So I kind of realized that there's a chance I may be left with one less electron than everybody else, but at the same time, I'm ready more than ever to go on with this reaction. Okay. I love to think that on some level, however small, every atom in my body has some kind of purpose, and though maybe we don't need it, it does seem to be some part of who we are. And it may just be like an atom of like calcium or something getting pumped out of your bloodstream, but it does seem to affect the rest of your body through like a big, long inter-body butterfly effect. I've been interested in biochemistry for a long time, tracing back to probably when I was in kindergarten. I would make like potions out of ketchup and mustard and chocolate sauce and olive oil and lots of delicious things. And I would pretend it gave me the power to do whatever it was I wanted to do. I wouldn't drink them, but just having something of that magnitude would be awesome. The idea of creating a staff which has never existed before has always stricken me as a captivating endeavor and one that I can devote my life to. 2 summers ago, I went to Duke Tip and I learned a lot about basic oncology, and I decided that that's something I'm interested in. And then last summer, I did some more scientific research, and I decided that that's something I want to do probably in college or later on as a career. I want to learn as much as I can in the next 4 years in order to prepare me for the next stage of my journey. I want to learn more about research and the process of developing treatments for diseases. I want to to gain that extra electron and continue my journey at whatever college I want to go to. My teachers at grade school have really been interesting. In 8th grade, I met Mr. Euler, who, while not married at the time, he told us he was an expert on girls. I also met Mr. Stender. He introduced me to rote memorization and the idea that there's no stupid questions, which is not true. Mr. White, or Dr. White, as he was known to his minions, he was more of an entertainer than a teacher. He would take us to his house and make sticky rice. He would have his wife make sticky rice and spring rolls and lots of other Thai cuisine items. One day he took us out of the blue to Sonic for a cultural dining experience. He's not here anymore. Next year I met Mr. Clapper and Mr. Fagan. They've kind of been like big brothers to me. Mr. Fagan would take out the band once a week or a couple times a week to Starbucks. And one time he convinced me that this girl that worked there had a crush on me. And I believed him because I'm not sure why I believed him, but I come up with a theory that's because I was standing next to Jackson Dent, who was ordering strawberries and cream frappuccino. So, classic Jackson. Mr. Fagan's also one of the only teachers that would agree with you if you told him you're not conscious. He would like to have a debate about that kind of thing. I'm not sure what I can tell you about what I've learned about experimental music and avant-garde music from Mr. Fagan, or the song I wrote to be performed from the middle of a lake without sounding like I'm stoned out of my mind. So I won't go there. Okay, so Mr. Clapper. I remember one day in AP Chemistry, we were not really doing too much one morning, and Mr. Stokes comes by and he's like looking through the window with it, as admissions guys, and I realized it's I told Nardi, and Nardi wakes up Ben Jones, and he tells Mr. Clapper, we should look like we're doing something. So Mr. Clapper walks over here to the board, and they're walking in, and he draws, like on the smartboard, he draws a graph with little axes labeled, and he draws, a little curve here and a little curve here. Okay guys, so what does this point represent, do you think? And I said, is that where the silver and the copper are in equilibrium in the nitrate solution? He said, yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we were just learning about equilibrium scenarios in the context of single displacement reactions and aqueous solutions. Where are you guys from? That was a close call. And last year was my first year with Ms. Tillett as a teacher. I was kind of falling apart and drowning in the pool of knowledge that is AP Modern European History, but I managed to pull myself together and get a good work ethic down. Doing well in history, or really any subject, has been about learning as you go for me. That's something I kind of learned from her. I think it's also important not to get discouraged when you see a bad grade at the top of your paper. That's definitely happened with me a bunch of times, in particular in her class. So while it would be true to say that I learned more about writing with her than most other English teachers, that's not very fair considering I had Mr. White for 2 years. Miss Kenny, I enjoy being the teacher's pet in class and trying to be profound. Mr. Zito, all of your class is a stage, and all the students are but players. We enter and we leave, and we go through 7 pages of annoying you. Miss Hyde, you always break my day, and I'm not sure why you don't get more shout-outs. Mr. Blackard, you've been a really cool dude to me ever since I came here, and thanks in advance for getting me in.